Right, today we are going to look at working with rows and column. Working with rows and column in using the insert option by inserting cells, columns, rows, deleting, resizing, hiding, and doing all sorts of um, features or performing all sorts of activity on your rows and column. Now we have this data here. Now to work on this data, now if you look critically at this data, now let me take you back to where it is. Everything is like this, I guess. Okay, now looking at this data and looking at it, you realize that is looking all clumsy, and it's not really looking clear. There are some words in it that are not so clear, or some words are hidden. For example, let's take a look at this particular column. We have quantity ID, month, year, and so on. And here we have customer name, phone, we have address 1, address 2, city, and the likes. Now this customer name, you can see that we have some names that are not, that are hidden, that are not really showing well. Now how do we make it fit in such a way that to show that we're able to see all we have in here? Now to do that, all we need to do is to what? Increase the column width. It needs to be wider than this. And to do that, for example, let's look at this customer name. Now we can see Leon Souvenir. From looking at the formula bar, we can easily see the name, but then merely looking at the table, the entire name here is not really showing. So to do that, all we need to do is to what? Adjust the column. And how do we adjust the column? Is either you adjust manually by clicking this, then increasing it to any length you wish or you want to see, or let's go back, or you just come here. Now this is G, that is where the column we want to adjust, and this beside it, the line, the next line, the tiny line that separates G and the next column, you click on it, you double click. Once you double click, it will auto fit the entire column, the entire words in the column. It will auto fit it. Now you can see, you can easily see all what we have in this particular column. So that's that on that. I would like to let me format this so it will look more beautiful. And to format, like I said in some of my previous videos, you can always look at my previous video on formatting cells, formatting your worksheet. Here I want to change the color to, I love blue, so let me use blue, light blue. Yeah, so that's the name of each column. Now look at this product code. Same thing, I can decide to auto fit, so it looks more beautiful. The phone number auto fit by clicking, address auto fit. Now you see it's looking more clear. Auto fit by what? Double clicking. Now if I don't want to double click, there is another option I can use. And what is that option? I can decide to, for example, I want to make sure the column in this address is wide enough to show all the content in it. All I need to do is come here, click on the name of the column, which is I here, then go up to my home. I'm already on home. In case you're not on home, click home, then you come to the group. We have different groups here. We clipboard, font, alignment, number, styles, cell. Now this I'm dealing with cell, so I'll come to cell, the group where the cell is here, which is this place. Then come to format. We have format here, then click format. Under format you see auto fit column. Click it, it will auto fit. So you can use that, or use double clicking, whichever way works for you. But you know, the double clicking makes your work faster instead of coming down here to change. So that's that on how to auto fit your cells. Now you can this can also be applied to, or there's another thing, or you can manually increase the width by shifting it left or right, depending on how wide you want it to be. So this can also be applied on the rows. In case you want to increase the height of this, I can decide to do this. For example, I have this. I can decide to increase the height by doing this. So that's that on that. Let me go back to what it will look like. So that's how to increase or decrease your column or row. Now let's look at another thing here. Now we are still modifying our rows and column, and one of the things I've just talked about now is modifying the height of the column and also resizing the height of the rows. Now we are going to be looking at how to also modify the entire row. For example, the space in between this, I'm not okay with it. I want to increase the row height. I want to make it uniform. I want to everything. For example, you have a timetable. You know how timetable is. Timetable is not as tiny as this. It's wider than this. So to make it more clear and all of that. Now all I need to do is to come here. Now let me copy and paste this on another sheet. Let me copy and paste this on another sheet. Let me do that. Let me create another sheet and have it here. Now all I need to do is to highlight. Now I want to make everything uniform, the entire cell uniform, the height, the weight, and everything uniform. All I need to do is come here. For example, I want to change the height. I'll highlight everything by clicking this or click Control A. For the Control A will actually limit it to the range of all your data. So that is if you are not adding anything to it. But if you want to add anything to it and you still want to maintain the formatting of the cell weight and height, then you need to click on this here, then to highlight all the cells. So even if you add any other data to it later on, it will maintain the format you've put into it. But if I don't want to that, maybe I'm not adding anything, I just want to maintain the formatting for this, within this data range. All I need to do is to click Control A. So let me click on everything. Now to change the height, I can decide to click on any of the rows in between the lines. Then once I have my double arrow, I can decide to increase the height, and once I increase the height of one, it will affect the rest. So let me increase the height to this. Now you can see the height. Now this looking like more like a table, and same thing is applicable to the column. I can decide to increase the column and everything will be affected too, instead of just one. You can see. So that's how to adjust or modify your rules. Now let's go back to what we were. Control Z is to undo, Y comes to Y is to do. Alright. Now that is done, we are going to be looking at inserting, deleting, resizing, and hiding. Now let's go back to this. Now how do you delete? How do you insert? How do you move or hide a cell? Now we are going to be looking at how to insert. Now you can insert. Now for example, we want to insert a new column here. Maybe after my product name, for example, we have customer name and we have phone number here. Maybe I want to add another column, and the column showing the, let's say, date of the purchase of this item. I'll come here, or rather click this Now don't forget, by clicking the name of the column, not just the column of the data, but the column of the sheet itself, of this particular sheet, we have this as G. By clicking, I can decide to insert a new column. All I need to do is come to home. Under home, you come to cell, you see insert. What are you insert? Is it insert copied cell, insert sheet column, or what do you need? Sheet column. I'll click. You see what we have here? I've decided to create a new column. So that's that. I have a fresh column. So on that's on G. That is on G. I created a new column on G. So it shifted the value that was on G to H. Now let me undo that. This was what I had before, but when I clicked insert, it shifted everything to H, and definitely it affected the rest. So definitely the city on K column will move to L, and same thing applies to the rest. So let me do that again. You see, I clicked insert and no, what have I done? Let me need to do this, then come here. Okay, that's inserting all what we have in the previous one, but no, that's not what I want. Now you have to be very specific on what you want and how you do that. You do that by clicking on insert option here, then you click what you have. Is it insert sheet column, or copy cell, or copy sheet? So you need to know that. So clicking this, you see, shifted everything to the right. Okay, let me undo that. In case I want it to be before G, maybe F, then I will insert a new column on F, then everything on F will move to G, and I'll have an empty column here. Then I can decide to add whatever I want. Now let me try that. Insert columns. Now do you see what we have? So that is how to insert column. Now you can do that on cells, on rows too. You can do that on rows too. Now let's try that on rows. I decide to come here. Probably I want to insert a new row on this. All I need to do is come here, insert, then insert sheet row. I have an empty row, and I can input whatever I want to input. So that's how to insert, and I can add whatever I want to add here. So that's how to insert on rows too. So you can insert on rows and insert on column, of which we've just done now. Now how do we delete a row or a column? To delete a row or column, you click on, now you can see that I'm clicking on the name of the row, not just the cell. So it will affect the entire column or row. For example, I want to delete G. I don't know why I like mentioning G. Alright, let us work on G column here. I want to delete it. All I need to do is click on it, then come here, delete. You see, it's deleted that particular row, then adjusted the entire data by making what was on H before come to G. Don't forget, what we had on G column was customer name, but now I deleted everything, so it readjusted the entire sheet. So that's what happens when you delete a column. Now let me undo this. Now we have this. Now in case I don't want that to happen, I just want to delete without adjusting. All I need to do is highlight, then click on delete on my keyboard, of which I just done. See, I just deleted the entire row without adjusting the data itself. So let me undo that. So that's what happens if you just want to delete a particular column and replace it with something else. All right, so we've talked on delete. What we have next? Okay, I said setting, delete, resizing. We talked on resizing. We talked on deleting. We talked on size. Now we'll talk on hiding. We'll talk on hide. Let's talk on hiding. How do we hide our data? Now we can decide to hide some columns. Maybe you don't want to see certain columns when you are working. Maybe you just needed to look at few columns so that to make your work easier. Maybe looking at multiple data or multiple column may kind of slow down your work, or you may have to, you may need to start moving from one space to another, and that may be stressful. So you may want to hide certain columns to make your work much easier. So to do that, you you need to hide some of these columns. So how do you hide? To hide, for example, I want to hide the columns from E to H. All I need to do is to highlight them. Then after highlighting, I right click, then I see hide. You can see there's hide option. Now let me hide. It will clear. When I use clear, it will not clear, but rather it will hide the columns from E to H. Now let's try that. Now you see, once it hides that, there'll be a green line between D and A. You can see from D you jump to I, showing that they were not deleted. The columns in between were not deleted, they were only hidden. So then I can easily maneuver between these few columns of mine without stressing myself, because I don't want to work with those rows for now. So that's the essence of you hiding some of the row columns, rather some of the columns of which I just did. Now to remove or to unhide, all you need to do is to click here, then you click on hide, then you have all your columns back. So that's how to hide and unhide. And so there's something I would like to also talk about. Now let's go back to what we have. And now, though it's not part of what is here but is needed, is about wrapping text and merging. Wrapping text and merging. Now, what does wrapping text and merging is all about? Wrapping text and merging makes your text easier to read and kind of give you this extra space underneath. It gives you extra space and kind of readjust your column on yourself. Now I want to, for example, I have this address line 1. I want to make sure it appears in a much better way and looks better, and all I need to do is click this column, then highlight everything in it. Then what next will I do? All I need to do is to wrap the text. All I need to do what? Wrap the text. And to wrap the text, I'll come to home, then I'll look for where wrap is, where the wrap and merge is. Now look at this, we have merge here and we have wrap here, although it's not stated here, but then this is what we mean by wrap. So look at what we have here. We have wrap text. You can see Microsoft, and E, which is a Zell, that this is extended, but then once you wrap it, it will look like this. You'll be able to see it. Then instead of you widening your column, you don't need to do that. It will rather increase the height of your cell. Then you have this. So let's try that. Now you see the address has been wrapped. So instead of what we have before, which is this, now after wrapping we have this. So that's the essence of wrapping your cell. So wrap your text in a cell. So that's the function. And I'm going to talk about center too. What I mean by center, that is merge and center. Merge and center, what does merge and center, what does it do? Now I would like to copy this entire sheet, or rather this. Let me copy Ctrl C, then paste it here so it will readjust, or what have I done? Undo please. Okay, then cut. I want to cut, not copy now. Cut, to cut is Ctrl X, then place it down here. Now paste it down here. Large, wait, what was it saying? All I needed to do, let's see what we have got. So now I want to readjust this. There's something, okay, so now let me name this as price list. Price list, and I want my to be 20. The size of this to be 20. Now I have this price list of item. Now I have this, and I want to select the selected cell will be matched and the text will be centered. This I want to explain what merge and center is. It will center it on the center of the sheet, then merge the entire cells together. So we have something like this. Now let me do that. Now I'm done with the wrapping. I'm talking about merge and center. So to merge and center, you click on what you want to merge and center, then you go up here. Don't forget it's still alignment, under alignment. Now this one is wrap, but this one is merge and center. And what does merge and center does? Look at what we have here. We have cell, but once you merge and center, it will merge the columns, column 1 and column 2, and center it on 1. So I want to merge and center everything we have here. Maybe I want to extend it to this. Merge and center will do that for me. So you see what I have? So I have price list of items. Now this helps me to name the column, or rather the data. So I have price list of items. I can try to, put it in a more beautiful way. Maybe this, bold it. It will increase the font, whichever way. So this will actually helps me to create some format on this data. So I have price list of items, and these are the columns. It's looking more beautiful, isn't it? So that's how to merge and center. So that's that on that.